Hello everyone, I'm Amir Hossein. Welcome to this training video. In this video we discuss about modifying a variable of the static data or a variable of almost the static data that are used in the WRF domain configuration. These data can be soil or can be land use data or maybe even emissions data that are not exactly inside the main WRF geodata. You must be aware that these kinds of modifications of a static data of the WRF domain, they are mainly done in the WPS of the WRF model. So I am in the WPS directory. Let me open geodata. After running GeoGrid, you will have some static data over your domain of the simulations, such as albedo or other variables. Those variables that don't have a significant connection or relation with the meteorological fields can be directly modified by the user. For example, let me show you some variables that have a significant relation with meteorological variables, such as a typical example can be height. So height, if you change this variable, it actually changes the pressure or wind fields of the domain. So it's not possible to modify these kinds of variables with direct relation with the meteorological field. But let me show you some other variables that can be modified by the user. For example, erodability is actually is our main purpose of this video, but let me show you land mask is a good example. This map you're seeing, this actually is land mask. The blue regions here are they actually represent water, Persian Gulf in the south and Caspian Sea in the north. And we have also two blue spots here. One of these blue spots, they are actually one of them, this one, it actually represents a dead lake that does not exist anymore. It's Urmia Lake that is going to be dry, and it's almost dry. Maybe 90% of this lake is dry, and you can, for this situation, you can change this land mask, but you must be aware that after changing this land mask, you have to change other variables that are related to this variable. For example, after changing this, you're supposed to change soil variables or other variables such as albedo or anything that is affected by changing this land mask, or even green fraction or any other variables that can be affected by changing land mask. So for our case, we are actually focusing on a variable that has a significant role in dust simulation, and it's soil erodability. As I told you, soil erodability and emissions data are examples of data that can be changed or modified by user. Now I am going to modify the default soil erodability. Let me show you soil erodability here. This is the soil erodability over the domain. And now I'm going to modify this default soil erodability that I have got after running GeoGrid. So for modifying this one, I need a new data. So this default data will be replaced by the new data. I'm going to use a special code and new data from this repository. This is the atmospheric science repository. You're supposed to clone this repository. I clone it. Let me close this. Clone. Okay, this is atmospheric science. I go to atmospheric science, go inside atmospheric science, navigate to WRF Chem tools, and inside WRF Chem tools there is a dust directory. Inside dust directory we have a West Asia dust source. Inside it we have two files, significant, two important files, the data, the new data, and a file that you can use to apply this data to your WRF geodata. So let me copy the directory here. I go back to my WPS directory and I copy or link, let me link it, create a soft link of the data. Okay, the data is actually already here, and let me link the code here. Okay, so I have this is actually the new erodability pattern for the region. I'm going to use this new erodability pattern in the place of my domain. For this aim, I can use this code. This code is actually made to do that task. So you're supposed to replace your geofile here. I don't need to change it because I have only one domain, so I don't need to change this. The only thing is to run it. Run it. So it prints out a message: new dust sources over West Asia have been applied on the geo file. So if I show you the new erodability, you can see that it has been changed, it has been modified to a new erodability, to a new pattern. Let me show you the previous one. This was the default erodability, and if you compare these two variables, you can see some significant changes over the domain. The right one is the default one, and the left one is the new dust sources or soil erodability over the region. Okay. After that you have updated or you have modified your geodata, your geofile. You have to run MetGrid program again. So your meteorological data, the output of OnGrid, will be applied on your domain. So I run it. Now if I open one of my Met data, you can see that inside Met data, the erodability variable has been updated. So this static data has been updated for all Met data. Now you are ready to run your WRF simulation. So you are supposed to link these metadata into your WRF run directory. Let me go to WRF run directory. Here I have already linked these metadata inside your run directory. I don't need to change anything for my name list. If you want to get some information about how to set up your name list, you can watch previous videos about how to run WRF Chem for dust simulation. So I am ready to run the WRF for the new dust sources or for the updated soil erodibility variable. I run real and after that WRF. So it starts running. Let me just show you the output for a couple of time slots. WRF out. And this is actually the output of dust for the region. For a couple of slides. So you can do the same task for other variables that are possible to be modified, that are not related to other variables, and that are almost independent from other variables. Maybe in the next videos I will also provide some information about how to modify lakes or water bodies and land masks.